Welcome back. You're in the PolitBureau. The Freedom Front Plus launched its election manifesto in Pretoria this weekend. Its Fight Back campaign promises to serve all South Africans, in spite of its history as an Afrikaans minority organisation. The political party is trying to appeal to coloured voters and has announced Peter Murray as its Western Cape Premier candidate, a province where they have no seat in the legislature. This is Peter Groenewald, Freedom Front Plus leader, describing their Fight Back campaign.
Firstly, we say you must fight back against, for instance, expropriation without compensation. That is detrimental to the future of South Africa. We say you have to fight back against the crime situation in South Africa. We are all victims in a certain sense when it comes to crime. And then we also say that we must fight back against discrimination, and discrimination based on race.
So, what exactly is the Freedom Front Plus's unique selling point? The party's Western Cape Premier candidate, Peter Murray, joins me in studio now. Mr. Murray, thank you so much for your time on Sunday morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
What exactly is the Freedom Front Plus offering voters this election? I mean, the election is 66 days away.
The Freedom Front don't promise people something. We say we want to change the rules of the game, the rules of engagement with national government, where we have a black majority that run a roughshod over the wishes, the desires, the lifestyles of all minorities. They have all the power in the world to do exactly what they want. They even give the provinces finances and then attach conditions to the finances. You can't spend the money the way you want to. They call it conditional grants. They are playing, hoe sal in Afrikaans sê, pophuisie met die provinsies. It's not the real thing. It's a Father Christmas syndrome. The child thinks Father Christmas bought the presents. DA in the Western Cape is Father Christmas. He never gave you that presents. No, it comes from the ANC.
I'm glad that you brought up the DA, because the Fight Back campaign, that slogan, Fight Back, slaan terug, is a DA slogan when Tony Leon was vying to become president in 1999. Why resurrect what some people are referring to as nothing more than a white wine?
Well, let's be quite clear about it. Musi Maimane is an affirmative action appointee by the DA. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, this is the letter I received from DA. New leader, Musi Maimane, 2016, when I broached the subject of federalism so that the Western Cape and all provinces can have more powers. Now, I'll quote directly from his letter. The DA believes in one unitary South Africa and working every day to win national power so that we can effect change for the whole of South African society. And then he adds this in his letter. We do not have a desire to attempt a lengthy and bitter legal dispute with the national government in order that we may carve out some additional powers and create a quasi-autonomous state within a state. This is not our vision for South Africa.
Okay, Mr. Murray, let's talk about the Freedom Front Plus's aims this election. You're gunning for the Western Cape. You're its Western Cape Premier candidate. I mean, is it enough to criticize what the DA has done? What's the Freedom Front Plus going to do in the Western Cape?
Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to say, if you want to play politics with us, implement the whole of the Constitution. Don't implement selective clauses in the Constitution. Don't concentrate on discrimination against minorities, and you don't implement the delegation of authority in terms of giving power to that level of government that can most effectively manage, handle, and administer such powers.
Okay, so I'm getting constitutionalism. You're for that, but you're against discrimination. Name one policy that you'll implement as Western Cape Premier.
The first thing I will do is consult the electorate and say, here we have a situation which the DA supports, full power with the ANC, very little powers with the provinces. We want to change that. We want maximize the powers given to provinces to determine their own budget, how they want to spend their budget. In other words, we don't want them to give us money and tell us how to spend that money. We want to prioritize our objectives. If we want to spend more money on education than on health, we should be allowed to do so. If we want more policemen because it's a crisis situation, we want to take money from one vote and put the money under police. At the moment we can't do that. They tell you which money you're going to get, how you must spend it, and how much you must spend. That we want to change. We want to protect minority groups, and by minorities I mean those groups, white, colored, Indian, who because of their small numbers will never attain power.
Mr. Marais, where does your ideology stand? Because after joining the Freedom Front Plus as their Western Cape Premier candidate, some are questioning exactly how this can be a political home for you.
Political home is a term that must be explained. I don't live with anybody. I got my own house. But if you talk in the sense of whether you share values, yes, I do share values. The first value I share is Afrikaans is my taal en ek wil Afrikaans beskerm hê. Hier praat ek met jou Engels, maar in wese wens ek kon dit in Afrikaans verduidelik aan Bonteheuwel en Manenberg en aan Mitchellsplein. Hulle moet nou hulle ore rek om te hoor wat sê Pieter Marais, want ek praat Engels. I want to protect Afrikaans at universities, at our schools, at our technikons. I want to bring Christian values and norms back into our educational system. And we want autonomy. We want the full say over education.
Are you going to equally protect minority languages other than Afrikaans? Some may argue Tshivenda, Xitsonga, are also minority languages that are in need of desperate protection.
Look, the Human Rights Commission already gave the government a report in 2016. I've got the report here. And it says that Afrikaans and the indigenous languages are suffering at the moment. English has become the main colonial language. The ANC, who is so much against colonialism, they even fired Helen Zille for it. They promote English above Afrikaans.
Mr. Marais, we are working against time, unfortunately. And look, with respect, you started in the tricameral parliament of P.W. Botha. You were part of the National Party with F.W. de Klerk, New National Party with Martinus van Schalkwyk, Tony Leon's DA, Terry Korte's Congress of the People, and now you're in Peter Groenewold's Freedom Front Plus. Some may argue that you're nothing more than a political opportunist.
Well, I will say you nothing more than a journalist opportunist. Because you just repeat with other journalists or ask me 20 times, and I will give you the same answer. If I'm on a bus, and I got a ticket to go to Cape Town, and that bus changed routes, I jump off the bus. I don't stay on the bus because I want my salary or my ticket money back. I leave a party when the party changes direction, and it goes in a direction that clashes with my principles. And that is why the ANC will stay in power, because journalists like yourself tell them, if you join a party, you die in that party. That's why the ANC will stay in power till Jesus comes, like Zuma says.
So all I'm really asking is, why should the people of South Africa trust you if you do seem a little bit indecisive as to exactly what political ideology attributes best to Peter Marais if you've been in, 7 different parties?
Yes. Dalil has been to 4, but you never ask her the question. Dalil has been PAC. She then became ID. She then became DA. And now she's good. But nobody asked Dalil why you changed parties, because you have other things you want to ask her. Me, you can never say I changed direction.
So, Mr. Marais, final question from you, and I thank you for coming on the PolitBureau. What happens if you don't become the Western Cape Premier under the flag of the Freedom Front Plus? I mean, are you going to go to the legislature? Are you going to leave the Freedom Front Plus? What's the plans?
My future's in the hands of the electorate. I don't need a job. I didn't apply to the Freedom Front to be their candidate. They asked me to be their candidate since 2014. I declined. I was recalled, like Schwarzenegger says. I didn't apply for the job. I was recalled because those who's there, they do not do what they promise the people they do. I am the last resort of the colored people and Afrikaans-speaking people. I'm their last resort.
Thank you, Mr. Marais. That's Peter Marais joining us on PolitBureau this morning. Coming up next, Spinners and Spanners. And it's pastor versus pastor on the streets of Johannesburg.